All right guys, so it was really easy to season up these beef short ribs. What we did is we took them out of the package, patted them dry, then we took some kosher salt and dusted them on both sides. Now on the bone side, we don't really have to worry about that much because they're not gonna end up sitting in the pan, but we definitely covered all the other sides. Then we took some good old Uncle Steve's shake and we used some of his competition cow powder. Now that competition cow powder, besides having some great seasonings for beef, has a fantastic color and the ability to create a bark, and that's why we chose this. So we dusted those up, set them aside, and then I went outside and we prepared the Traeger. Now I'm using just a basic competition blend of pellets, not any one particular kind of species of pellet wood, but what I did make sure is I did a quick maintenance on the pellet smoker. I vacuumed it out, I put in a new drip pan foil, just so that I don't get any residual taste of the pork that we just cooked in it last week. And then I set it for 275. Really, what I did is I set it for 250, and I know the way my Traeger performs, it actually goes up to an average of about 270 to 280, even though I set it for 250. So it's important to know your pit. I guess that's where the saying goes, hey, pit master, you know your pit, therefore you're a pit master. So once the Traeger was up and running and it stabilized with a good temperature, we went ahead and put those beef short ribs on. We went bone down and we put them right on the grate. Now make sure your grate is nice and clean and you don't want any kind of flavors from the last thing you cooked on there spoiling this. And this was about 11 a.m. So I closed it down and I went off to change the oil in Sassy's Vespa. 2 hours later I came back and I did a bark test. I wanted to make sure that bark has set in and doesn't scratch off easily or at all. And then I sprayed it with beef broth. Beef broth to give it that beautiful, wonderful flavor. Important to spritz because the smoke will stick to moisture more than when it's dry. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. But the trick, and I don't know if I'm sure you figured it out by now, but the more you spritz, once that bark is set up, the better bark you're gonna get because that smoke wants to stick to the moisture. But it's a fantastic instant read thermometer, and I'm looking for temperature right around 160, 170, and I think I found that. And I'm not going for temperature at this point. I just want to make sure that bark is set up. I'm starting to get the color that I want, and I'm at least well above 150. So I guess I'm going for temperature somewhat. Sassy prepared a bed of some very aromatic and hearty vegetables in a pan. So I think she took some white onion, chopped them up, some carrots, various types of carrots. What else, babe? So basically fancy carrots and onions, put them in a bed in a pan, and then we poured in what broth we had remaining into it, and we put beef ribs right on top of that, almost just like how they come off the smoker, right onto that bed. Then we covered it up, put it back on the smoker, and we must have went for at least another 2 hours. So once it started getting to that probe tenderness that I was really looking for, I pulled the foil off to try to get some more smoke and just kind of let now the meat kind of tighten back up, almost like you do some ribs. You know, you foil them and you pull them out and you glaze them. But in this case, I was just taking the foil off, and I just wanted some of that residual moisture to go ahead and let it escape and maybe dry out some of those veggies. I don't want to have boiled ribs, but I definitely want to keep the moisture in. So after about, I think probably about another hour and a half uncovered, then I probed them again, and man, they were soft. So I covered them again, brought them in, put them in the oven to let them rest. They've been resting for about an hour. Plus Sassy's mashed potatoes, broccoli. Oh, it's just gonna be a perfect plate. It's gonna be hearty, perfect wintertime.